already have so much production in the world. Do I want to be a contributor to that, or do I want to be that one person who has some sort of contribution in a sustainable future? Coming from an advocacy point of view, it also teaches me to be a bit more empathetic towards situations.
Kia ora everyone, I'm Rasa and I'm so excited to be chatting to Aditi today. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. How's life been? How's your day been?
It's been hectic, but it's been a good day. I'm so glad the sun was shining out today.
Finally.
Yeah, it's been good. How's
spring.
your day been?
Good. Getting into springtime, I'm really feeling it.
Oh my God, yes.
But for those who don't know you, would you like to introduce yourself? We give you the mic. And who are you and why are you so busy? Tell us about yourself, Aditi.
Yeah, kia ora. My name is Aditi and I am a first generation migrant. I migrated from India to Aotearoa almost over a decade ago now. God, it feels like an eternity. And Aotearoa has been home ever since. I'm also a proud Porirua local. My mahi spans across youth advocacy, leadership, politics, and creative arts, and it's a very fun mix of things. So my youth leadership and advocacy mahi is involved with Kaupapa like Gen Z Aotearoa, Voice of Aroha, Make It 16, and a few other groups across the motu. And my creative arts, I practice creative arts through dance and fashion. My niche is around sustainable fashion and circular slow fashion, which is what I studied as a Bachelor of Design back in university. And so I do work with films, short films, music videos. I do costume for local magazines, all the cool stuff. And outside of that, my political journey, it all started with my involvement in the exec team for Young Greens. And this year, I'm also running for the local body elections with Porirua City Council in the Pauatahanui General Ward. I feel like I might be missing a few things here and there, but that's the gist of me. And I'm also a full-time student this year. I'm doing my master's at Victoria. So that is all that keeps me busy. Yeah.
That is so much in the most wonderful, fantastic way. I love how diverse all of your hats are. Like, this really interesting political mahi is really enthusiastic and exciting kind of academic and sustainability focus, and also the kind of the creative arts and everything in between. How do you manage it? How do you balance that? And what is there kind of central themes that tie it all together? Because it seems so exciting and broad.
Yeah, I feel like I think about that a few times, and I think for me, I don't think I'm juggling too many things at once. It's more like I'm weaving a hat together, and everything just interconnects very beautifully. I think my political mahi just keeps me grounded within the community. My creative practice is very essential to me to just keep my creative juices flowing, and that's what brings the fun and the bold ideas in everything else that I do. And my advocacy mahi just keeps me more involved within the community, and that's what drives me as a person. And I think the one theme that runs across all of these different kaupapa is just authenticity and just being my authentic self. I think that's what keeps me going.
Is that what drew you to kind of fashion and kind of that representation of bringing who you are to the world?
I think so, yes, definitely. And while I was studying fashion back in uni, I had a choice whether I create a graduate collection for my final year. And that's what got me thinking that we already have so much production in the world. Do I want to be a contributor to that, or do I want to be that one person who has some sort of contribution in a sustainable future? And it might small like, sustainable future fashion is a small thing, but actually it is a big mainstream industry out there. And another aspect of that was just the lack of South Asian representation in our fashion industry. We don't necessarily have the biggest fashion media in New Zealand, but even the little pool we have, there is a big lack of South Asian creatives. And when I started exploring that, I started connecting with like-minded people, and and that was just the start, and it just kept getting bigger and better ever since. Yeah.
It sounds like I love how much you own that you are a wahine of colour, and of and kind of seeing this, this passion that you have for seeing representation, for seeing kind of the beautiful diversity of faces of New Zealand and Aotearoa and the world here around us. You really own that as a strength. Can you share some of kind of what it means to you to be a wahine of colour, both kind of, and I guess especially if there's instances where other people might see that as a challenge, but you've kind of turned into this thing that you say, no, I'm amazing and this is who I am.
Yeah, I feel like too often it comes across as, oh, you're too young and you're too brown. And that combined is the biggest challenge that us wahine of colour face on a daily basis. And it got to a point where I had to, I had the self-realization that me being a person of color is my strength, and my identity is not a barrier, rather a superpower. And it's just a matter of fact of when you realize that in your life. And I was very fortunate enough to realize that and have that community around me who uplift those voices rather than suppress them. And I generally think that it's a superpower, if anything, and that is the beautiful part of my leadership that I bring to the table, that I'm diverse, and the world needs more diversity. The world needs more inclusive leadership spaces. Leadership is all about having a person or a community and a group who can cater to everyone and anyone. And until and unless we do have those diverse voices, I don't think change is possible. So I own it on my sleeve, and it's as little as something like, I call it decolonizing my name, correcting people while they may not pronounce my name the way it should be. And I think it's those little things that actually empower me so much to be proud of where I come from and the kaupapa that I am involved in.
I love that in terms of the kind of description of decolonizing your name in the world. And I guess if you think of it compared to, I don't know, social movements like Me Too, or even like kind of stand up for racism and all these kinds of things, stand up against racism rather, it's picking those points and saying, no, I don't have to accept this, and I choose to confront and kind of acknowledge these gaps, this misinformation, this these issues, and say we can have a better world, and I'm going to be the first one to make it. So that's really awesome. I love that, Aditi. Thank you so much. I was just wondering, would be keen to hear a little bit more about your mahi with Gen Z Aotearoa, because it's incredible mahi. You're a recent finalist in our Wellington Airport Awards and things like that. Can you tell us about some of your incredible mahi there?
Yeah. Yes, Gen Z Aotearoa is a big part. I think it's a big part of my mahi and the kaupapa that I do, and I hold it so dear to my heart. And yes, it was so nice to be recognized as one of the runner-up for the Rising Star category at Wellington Airport Awards this year, alongside Voice of Aroha for winning.
Lots of successful mahi from you and us. Yeah.
And it's so incredible to hear that people know about us now. We're still up and coming, and we recently did a relaunch. So we have relaunched Gen Z Aotearoa, and I led the relaunch event in July. Down here in Punake, and it was so nice to finally be able to bring all these little organizations who are doing the same mahi, same work towards a better society and a better world for young people, to kind of bring everyone together under one roof and share resources, share ideas, and contribute to something bigger and greater than all of us. And we really have some really exciting things coming up next year, especially with the National Youth Organizations Hui that's coming up. And another little plug I would do is for Koho for Kaupapa. It was a project that I led this year with the help and backing of Blackbird Foundation with Protostar Season 9, and it's a youth funding hub for rangatahi across the motu, to have that one-stop place that you can just go online and find every single opportunity for rangatahi to access some financials to bring their ideas to life. We saw a big gap in there while we first started, and yeah, it's incredible what you can do when young people come together, and it's Gen Z Aotearoa is a living proof of that. Yeah.
So can people go search that up and go?
Yes, you can search it up online. It's Koho for Kaupapa. You can search it up, and it will lead you to our website, Gen Z Aotearoa. Yeah.
Awesome. There you go. So there's all the change makers, like making future paths for them as well. That's really
Absolutely.
exciting. Gosh. I love how diverse your mahi is across so many things. Incredibly busy. I'm wondering if you've had any conflicts kind of in your mahi and in kind of if there's been any, because you've talked about that turning point kind of in your degree about kind of decision making of whether you go this way or that way. Have there been any other instances where you're kind of, you've been caught between values, or you've had to kind of make a stand, or things have gotten messy, and how you've overcome that, if so? Or good if not?
Yeah, since I'm campaigning, since most of this year, and I come across a lot of people in my city who obviously will have different views and different values and about the world and politics and local government in general. And while I know that there is a point where you have to agree to disagree, some people might not, and it does get a bit uncomfortable and a bit challenging. And that's where you have two choices: either you just agree with them and go ahead, and because you don't believe that you can make any sort of change, but small or big, in other people's lives, or you actually stand your ground and you are solid in your values, and you know that if I were to speak up about this, I don't really care about the consequences, and I'm happy to voice my thoughts. And coming from a Wahine of color, it has its own set of challenges, but that has made me realize that there is a lot of discomfort in change, but nothing worth fighting for comes easy anyway. Yeah, so I think that's what for me keeps me going, that I may not be able to change someone's perspective on certain things, but as long as I'm able to voice my thoughts, and I have seen that happen firsthand. There have been people who have gotten back to me contacted me via email saying, actually, you know what, you changed my mind about this. I might be happy with the youth council in Porirua now. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's nice to have those positive examples as well. I love that. Nothing. What was the line? Nothing easy comes. Nothing
Worth fighting for comes easy.
Yeah. Where does that come from for you? Where did you learn that in your life?
I think I learned that growing up. There are these two quotes that my parents would always tell me, that nothing worth fighting for comes easy. When you're young and you just give up on things easily sometimes, and often I would maybe find myself defeated in certain circumstances, and that's something that my parents have said to me. Another really great quote, since we're talking about quotes, I've heard growing up is, if service is beneath you, then leadership is beyond you. And I hold that so close to my heart. And that came up recently. I was at a women's conference, and someone said that in the panel discussion, another great Wahine of color. And it just got me back, and I just took that quote and based my entire campaign around it. Sorry, I went a bit off topic, but
no, perfect, absolutely perfect. Yeah, I was going to ask you, how has that affected your advocacy, your mahi, and especially your political mahi? Yeah.
I think coming from an advocacy background, that's what stood out to me, and it made me realize that the system needs shaking from the inside, and local government is the perfect way to do that, because everything that you see on your things that affect you in your daily life, whether it's from your transport to your infrastructure to your water, what you drink, everything is, the tangible outcomes are from local government, and you can hit the ground running if you're a part of that movement. So coming from an advocacy point of view, it also teaches me to be a bit more empathetic towards situations, which I think local government or politicians in general might lack sometimes.
You talk about kind of empathy and I guess also the power of diversity and the importance of that. I guess, do you have a vision of what, an inclusive and empathetic, diverse Aotearoa looks like in the future, and how you think we can get there?
I think it all starts at home. The more open conversations we have around leadership and governance roles and political roles, there is a stigma when it comes to certain communities that politics is seen under a bad light, and it doesn't have to be that way. I often get asked, like, oh, you have such great values from the humanitarian causes, that you believe in a free Palestine, you put people over profit. Yeah, and people often ask me, why would you step into politics instead of just sticking to advocacy, where you have good causes to fight for, and a great platform to channel that. And I think over the years we have just lost the plot that politics is not about profit, but about putting people and the planet over profit. And when it comes to leadership, I think we see great leadership with people from diverse backgrounds, people who have experienced things firsthand, people who bring those different experiences of life firsthand. And that, I think, is between when we talk about young Wahine of color stepping into these leadership roles, it's very important that the people who are already in these leadership roles right now are a bit more welcoming. There needs to be absolutely zero gatekeeping around things. We need to create spaces where people feel welcomed to even approach something like this. Me personally, growing up, I did not see people like myself who look like me in decision-making roles, and that sets you back because you think if someone could have, they would have. And I was hoping to be that person too, so that the generation coming after me don't have to have second thoughts about that. And Aotearoa is so diverse, we all know. We have incredible people. It's all about finding those opportunities and rather creating those opportunities for people from diverse backgrounds, immigrants, refugees, especially young Wahine of color, to feel welcomed in these spaces. Yeah.
How do you see your role in doing that, and what do you think New Zealanders in general can do to create those welcoming spaces?
For me, when I started, it was just about finding my people. Yes, everyone starts different. But the best thing we can do is start small. And I know it's easier said than done. It's quite intimidating when people say just put your hand forward. But that's the thing, right? Like we talked about before, nothing worth fighting for comes easy. You do need to put your hand up, and you do need to find your people. And I was very glad that I found my people, whether it was the advocacy community with Voice of Aroha, Gen Z Aotearoa, or my political community with the Greens. You need to find that the people who share the same values as you. And I was very fortunate enough to find that group of people. And you can start, you don't have to go apply for 1,000 jobs in whatever sector that you want to get into. It could be voluntary work. It could be just as simple as just DMing someone, whether it's a politician, whether it's someone who's involved in the NGO sector, and just expressing that actually I would want to be involved in this. And funnily enough, I just had a message this morning from someone who said that actually, you know what, you do really cool things. How did you get started? I would really love to know. So absolutely zero gatekeeping, please. Leaders of today.
I feel like one of the key secrets for Aotearoa as well is that when you do just reach out to people and say, oh, actually, I'd love to have coffee with you and talk about like your mahi and stuff like that, people just say yes, because like this secret of networking in New Zealand, just people, just do it kind of thing, and it goes really well. Yeah, and normally people are very lovely like you, and I'm sure you're going to respond very kindly to that message and everything like that.
Yeah.
Apart from being there and representing and being the person that you are with all of the life experience, the diversity, the community, the background you bring, what are the main things that you hope to achieve if you get elected? It's hard to how do we keep this short?
Hard to keep it short, but I think the main priority is to have young, diverse voices be heard in Porirua. Porirua is one of the youngest cities in the country. We have more than 30% of demographic under the age of 25. That makes up a big chunk of Porirua's demographic. And it's only fair if we have true representation of those people in decision-making roles, because it's us whose future is getting decided on those tables today. And we often hear that young people are the future leaders. I think we are today's leaders, and in order to understand what's happening and what our future looks like, it's only fair that we get some say in those decisions being made today. So having a youth council is one of my top priorities. Alongside, obviously, we know the climate crisis. We know the rates are skyrocketing, but it's very important and essential to understand what are the causes that the rates are going so high, and what are the ways we can slim it down, and we hope that it doesn't increase further and further in the coming years. So smart climate infrastructure investment in climate infrastructure is one of the key priorities, and the list just keeps going and going. I feel like I can sit here forever, but I think the two main priorities would be having re-establishing Porirua's youth council and the Porirua City Council, and heavily investing in smart infrastructure. Yeah.
Beautiful. What are the main things you've learnt from your campaign so far, both like about, I don't know, politics, council, and or yourself?
This entire journey of campaigning has been a very beautiful learning curve for me. Regardless if I were to get in or not, I think I have connected with my community like I've never before. I have met people in the daily life, and understanding the struggles of our community that a community faces. It will be amazing to get into council and hit the ground running, and be that person who is able to. You have those powers, you have the capability and to get things done. But regardless of that, I think we do incredible mahi across that in advocacy sector and activism sector as well. Learning people, meeting people has been the best part about the entire campaigning journey, and you'll be surprised and amazed to see and learn things about your own neighborhood, the kind of community activists that are in your neighborhood, the groups that are doing such incredible mahi across the motu with climate change, and just having the sustainability and affordability to live without getting council and the central government involved. There's a lot of power the community holds, especially out in Porirua. I'm very grateful to have explored that through this journey of campaigning, and so happy that I've now signed up for a lot of group activities across Porirua, from wetland restoration to riparian planting. It's been incredible.
What would you say to someone who is maybe looking at you going, oh, that looks kind of exciting, looks kind of like me, but is not too sure with the whole process, but maybe themselves standing up for either local government or central government?
I think it's all about being true to yourself. If you know that this is something that you want, you just have to go for it. Again, that's something easier said than done, but from someone who felt that way and actually took that step, I can definitely vouch that it is so worth it, taking that leap and risking it all, because you never know what incredible things may come out of it. Starting small, whether if you are a school student, whether it's like talking at school debates, or whether it's DMing a politician, or being a youth MP, or having a youth council, which we desperately need across the country, just start somewhere. And I think more than the kids and the emerging leaders, it's the current leaders who hold those positions. They need to create those spaces that people feel welcome, that yes, I can. These people are approachable enough for us to go and ask how to get started. And civic education obviously stays on top of the entire list. That the minute we start properly educating our kids and having civic education in schools, that would open a gate with endless opportunities. Yeah.
Beautiful. Gosh, there's so many things I want to ask you. I'm ending at the beginning, but how did you get involved at the beginning with all of this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what was the first spark?
I think it's my passion and love for just standing for humanitarian causes and rights. But it's that feeling that yes, I care so much about our planet and our people. How do I get started? What can I do to make that little difference in the world? And I was very fortunate that Gen Z Aotearoa came along the same time, along with so many other different kaupapa that I'm involved in. And I'm not gonna lie, it's very uncomfortable and jarring to just even put your hand up and be like, actually, I'm interested, without knowing what you're getting yourself into. But it's causes like standing for Palestine, standing for Congo, standing for just having a basic human rights for everyone and anyone, and that just makes me so angry that I can't do everything in my power, but I have realized that I am doing everything in my power possible, and I think that was the thing that drove me into finding these little opportunities. And once I got into activism and advocacy, that's leaded me towards politics, because I realized that in order to make those changes happen real quick, and those decisions, you have to be a part of that decision-making table. Yeah.
That's gorgeous. That's really, really lovely. Thank you so much, Aditi. Last questions. I guess, how do you hope your work inspires the next generation of leaders? We'll talk about that, but yeah.
I really, really hope and wish that the people who come after me can look up to me and say, if she can do it, I can do it. And I think that's the core to everything that I do, that I want to be the person that people can look up to, and then I'll also find opportunities a bit more easily that I might not have in the past. And yeah, I just want to be remembered as that person who stood for the right things in history. Yeah.
If you have one message to the audience, and especially maybe to rangatahi, what would that be? It could be anything in the world.
I think be your authentic self. Stand for what's right. Don't wait to fit in. I have found myself that the more I tried to fit in, the quieter I went. We need more people to stand out. We need more people to be diverse. Bring those fresh, diverse, bold ideas to the table. Because if you're not going to, who is going to? We really need to put that idea in the bin that we need to fit in to be accepted. No, you need to stand out to be accepted and to be seen. And don't be scared to take up space. You deserve to be here. You deserve to contribute all the great things and ideas you bring to life. And don't be afraid to reach out to people. I know we hear that a lot, but I will make sure I do everything in my power to be that person who people feel welcomed enough to go and think that I'm approachable enough to message me or reach out to me. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Aditi. We have one question, as you know, in our show from Voice of Aroha. We have a tradition where the previous guest...
looking forward to it.
Yes, yeah. Where our previous guest asks the question for the next guest. And so, today's question...
Drum roll!
Today's question, I was not expecting this. What are the hobbies that you liked when you were younger, and what hobbies do you like now?
Oh my lord, okay. Hobbies. So I've always been a dancer, and so now I run a dance academy in Wellington. I think I started in 2017 when I was 17. So dance has been the number one hobby. It has kept me sane through these years. Hobbies. Funnily enough, I wanted to be a pilot.
Oh, wow.
Yes, growing up, I wanted to be a pilot. And, I mean, if you see the size of me, you can tell that I'm quite short to be a pilot. So that drifted away, but I still keep interest in...
flying.
Yeah.
Have you done much flying?
No.
That's a hobby that maybe
Yeah,
you'll go
luckily
into.
I'm not scared of heights, so perhaps that's something I can pick up, once I'm in the council.
That's so exciting. Thank you so much, Aditi. It was such a pleasure, and really, really, really thankful to get to know you better and hear about your incredible mahi as well as your beautiful words of wisdom for our audience. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been so incredible being here, especially being a part of Voice of Aroha, being on the side and sharing my story. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you enjoyed. Ka kite.
Ka kite.